second ways and your comb over hair. No, you're a fake, not a billionaire. Oh no, no, I'm wide awake and you're a nightmare. Egocentric, narcissistic, and it won't go away. Just go away. Lame is your game. How will your...
Hello everybody and welcome to the release stream for Track Day 3, my brand new game releasing on itch.io in not so long now. But before we start, I have to give credit to the artist of the song that's just played in the trailer, because I realised I haven't put credit in the description of this stream. So the trailer music is Living Nightmare by Snowflake, copyright 2016, and it is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, which means it's marked for free for commercial use, providing I give appropriate credit. Now I'm going to class that as appropriate credit, and we can move on. So let's get straight into some gameplay, shall we? Please feel free to say hi in the stream. And yeah, we'll get into some gameplay and we'll get this game released. If you just bear with me while I load it up. Sorry for the unpreparedness of this. I have literally had a PC crash, so nothing is prepared. I had to get this out ASAP. I'm just going to double check my audio is okay. Yep, audio is okay. Alright, so if you bear with me for 1 second. So what is new in this Track Day 3, the new game? Here we go. I'm going to mute my PC just so that we don't get into this. Now, I haven't actually tested this resolution. I hope it's okay. There we go. Should be good. Same resolution that I have R factor on. As you know, for most people watching this stream, I assume are from Valve. So just loading into the game now. I understand you can't see this, so let's get into it. Hopefully this is all okay. I'll just drag this up a little bit. This is the professional content you should come to expect. So this is the game. So yeah, so as you can see, we've got 3 modes, and you can also move around the menu. I recommend using a controller for the game. I'll put the itch.io link in the stream description if you give me 1 second. Just gonna have to bear with me this stream because I am about as organised as well, that's the point. I'm not organised. I believe it's youtube.com. Yep, we'll get into there. So what are we talking about with this game? So firstly, we should probably dig into the credits before we get into anything else. So please bear with me if anything does crash. That would be pretty embarrassing, but also this is already pretty beyond saving, this this stream. I need YouTube Studio. They've changed the name of Creator Studio like absolute idiots. Just make sure I am actually streaming. So this is the all of the credits. I should probably make it so that my mouse is shown. Capture cursor. Yep, we want to do that. So you can see the lovely little cursor we have in this game. It's the Reedingame livery on a hybrid single-seater. Not F1 car. Can't call it F1 cars. They don't let me call it F1 cars. Although, come to think of it, I would probably get away with it. But if this game unexpectedly blows up, then yeah, that would be pretty awkward email conversation that I do not want. So I'm just updating. I'll put the itch.io link in the chat, although I am fully aware that I am the only one watching at the moment. So we're going to go down and we're going to copy it into the description as well, so it's now in the description. Video output's low. That's not much of an issue. So, okay. So, I'm just going to double check you can still hear me. Yep. Alright, brilliant. Right, back. So, the other two modes in the game are time trial and go-kart. We'll go into go-kart later because it's a little bit unstable at the moment and it's multiplayer. So, we'll wait for some other people to get into the server or into the stream before we delve into multiplayer mode. So, yes, so we'll be releasing in around 15 minutes, I should think. So, time trial mode. Let's first go to Indianapolis, which, again, I'm not technically allowed to say what the, the names of these actual tracks, but I'm sure you can gather what track we're at now. It's not a spelling mistake, as some would say, but lovely track limits there by me. So yeah, let's just talk about the general physics of the car. So I'm using an Xbox controller. I would recommend using Xbox controllers. I am using the right trigger to go, left trigger to reverse, and yeah, just steering as you'd expect to steer. You can also use the just single joystick to move, but it's not recommended. So if I wanted to brake now, I could just use this. Oh, ideally come off of the throttle first. Yeah, I could do this, and then I'm moving backwards, and this, and I'm moving forwards. But I wouldn't recommend that, because it makes you slower overall. You can be quite easy on track limits with this. I found that the best way to do it was to make track limits quite lenient, we'll say. You can get away with big cuts, because it's quite hard to control the IndyCar, American single-seaters in this in this game. I'm pretty sure I could say Indy cars. That they're Indy cars. So once you've done that, we can head out of that. Now, excuse me. The tracks aren't completely accurate representations because they use a tile map system, which is quite confusing. But yeah, they use a tile map system, which means they're quite limited in what they can do. But we've got a second timer now, and now we're just driving the F1 car around the US Grand Prix. Not current US Grand Prix, the one where the incident happened in 2005. Lovely taking in the final corner there. So as you can see, it's just a fun little in-road course you can go through. That section being almost identical to the Monaco hairpin in the game, I'm pretty sure. But as you can see, 17-second lap time we put there, which tracks aren't scaled to lap time properly, but this is a strictly arcade game. I mean, it's 2D, so of course it's going to be arcade. But we do have some simulations, such as grip levels can be simulated and changed in the game. Somehow that was a faster lap time than before. We're just going to cut there. Try and do this somewhat intelligently. That's probably not the best way to take that, but 14 seconds. If you can beat any of my lap times, please feel free to join our Discord and let me know. So that's the US Grand Prix. Fast from 2005. That was famous for. So Kind of Champs, which is Spa in the game. The F1 Belgian Grand Prix. So yes, the grip levels are simulated, so I can change the grip and the acceleration and deceleration of the car. You can see down the Kemmel Straight and taking the chicane. So I can simulate. Can people stop inviting me to Xbox parties when I am streaming, please? So yep. So taking Spa's got a decently long lap time, as Spa does in real life. Moving through here, bus stop chicane. Finally, as I said, they aren't like realistic representations of that much of the track. Like as you can see, well, we're going into Eau Rouge now. And whilst you can take Eau Rouge comfortably flat, it is it's not perfect because of the tile map system, but it's an arcade game and you can kind of guess that this is Spa, and I think it does a good enough job at just having decent tracks. And I just looked away for a second, and that was awful way to take that section. Could someone stop spamming me with an Xbox? Is there any reason not to go straight across the grass to the end? Yes, so there is actually. Gromit's Hue. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Does one go slower on the grass? Unfortunately not. I haven't been able to create that as a system yet, although it will be in a future patch. But the reason you can't cut the grass, I will show you right now, is because there's a checkpoint at the an invisible checkpoint halfway around the track, which means that you can go there. And usually, I'm not sure if it's on this track. Depends how good I have been with my polish. There is usually, so like in tracks like I know there is in Indianapolis, there is a big block in the middle of the runoff, so that you can't just go straight through. Because that was something that people picked up in the first game, where they could literally just do this and they'd get a lap time of literally 3 frames. Obviously now we've moved on from that in the first track day game, which released, I believe it was January 2018. Since then we've become yearly releases, so last year on November the 14th, I'm not sure why I've got an 8-second as my best time. There must be an issue with this track, but again, hello Yanni, Reedingame driver in R Factor. So yeah, so there is checkpoints scattered across invisible ones, so if you take awful lines and things like that, you can't just go straight through the map. We've learned from our mistakes of previous games. Now on to my favourite track in the game, which is Le Endurance, which is Le Mans, in the LMP1 car, which I think is the best looking car in this game, and it handles quite nice as well. The well, in the game it's referenced as torque. I know in real life it's not, but the physics system we use, it was turning in is classed as torque, because why have I... Oh, never mind. I thought the stream had crashed for a second. Yeah, so it's referenced as torque in the game. Now, one bug that should be mentioned is that you can just skip through the track there. So I'm going to need to add barriers there, but as I said, a lot of this will come in patches, because we're going to be supporting the game for at least a year. I'm just completely going to mess up how I take that. Yeah, we'll be supporting the game for a year with regular DLCs and things like that. When I say DLCs, I don't mean you're going to be paying any more than £1 for some cars and new tracks and things like that. I think the main DLC I want to add is DTM cars, or I need to find some way to make a funny rip-off name of those before we add anything. So yeah, so yeah, so there's going to be... I find that usually it is more fun, because there isn't any leaderboards yet, because I couldn't source servers for the leaderboards. Because there are no leaderboards yet, you're only cheating yourself, really, if you try and... if you cut the chicane. Which as well, I think... yeah, while it would be in a future patch, they can catch you by surprise, and it's only an arcade game, so... the handling as well. I know a lot of the criticism in the beta that we had, the closed beta, was that the cars accelerate way too quickly. Like, I'll stop at the end of this lap, but we could be on for a good lap here. So as you can see, I'm exiting that chicane. I'm going basically to top speed within 0.5, like literally less than a second. Like, it's basically instant going to top speed. But I decided to keep it in the game because I quite like that. You know, you're not really battling the car, because it's an arcade game. It's meant to very much feel like retro sort of style, and you know, things like that. 42-second lap time. I said to you that was going to be a good lap. So yeah, so we wanted to make sure that it had a. I wanted to make sure it had a very retro feel to it, as the other track day games had. But I also wanted to go more modern in a way with this game by adding, like, the art styles changed a lot. Like, if I was to pull up an image of the old track day game, which I will get on itch.io right now, if you bear with me, my library. That's not what I need to go to. I need to go to my profile. I'll pull up a picture of the first track day game. That's track day 2. Scroll right down to track day 1. we'll find a picture. So we can actually play track day 1, but we won't. There we go, hang on. If you bear with me a second. This is a submission to the Finally Finished Something jam, because I'd been meaning to finish the first track day game for about half a year. It was meant to be 3D initially, but I thought better of that. Made with Unity. I ought to get Unity Premium so that I don't get that. You can see the art style in this game is very and the controls feel really weird and sluggish. So this is what you were missing out for. I mean, look at that. The Tesla, and this will be the first game where the checkpoints weren't as big as well. So the first game where Windy Highway, which is what will the new game have original music? Right, okay, what I should talk about with the music is we're going to say goodbye to the old game now. The game will not have original music because my music creation skills are they're about as good as a 5-year-old. So instead, I have sourced some copyright-free, decent music. If we
short board, long board, fish board.
There you go.
The waves are cranking.
So we've got some. We've got 4 soundtracks. So you can hear the credits here. So Hanging 11 by Carver Square, Living Nightmare by Snowflake, Rude's Noise by I can't pronounce that name, and Who We Are by Hans Atom. Most of them are royalty-free kind of indie style tracks, so you know, going with the theme of the game, I think quite nicely. Right, on to Monaco now. Yeah, I would love to do original music for the game, and it may be something that comes in the future. But also, I really like the style of like FIFA and things like that, and games like that, where they have like not original soundtracks, but they have like more of a playlist style. You know, you recognise FIFA songs because they were in FIFA, and I kind of wanted to go for that style. I've just completely cut the chicane there. Monaco's the hardest track on this game by far. Or sorry, not Monaco, Principality racetrack. And as I said, more tracks will be added as the game goes on. I mean, completely messing up Rascas there. Sandoval. So yeah, I find that pretty much it was better to go for free for commercial use, royalty-free tracks, because I think personally they're decent tracks, and you're not going to be in the menu. I thought the music of the previous one added to that retro feeling. Yeah, I definitely thought that the music in the original game added to the retro feeling, but also it was me closing my eyes and scattering and like just randomly pressing the mouse in Bosca Seal, and I find that whilst that added to the style, a lot of the people that like sort of played the first game said to me that they found that music a bit annoying. And whilst I do really want to keep to the retro style, a lot of my audience is like people I know that just play the game when they're bored. And you know, just, you know, like you're at school and you have a break time and you don't know what to do, so you load up this game. And I feel like the retro music became sort of or not retro music, the music we had became sort of annoying to the ear for a lot of people that I was speaking to. And so yeah, so I decided I should probably go for some a lot of people liking the music in the original games. Yeah, I mean, I will probably, if it's that much, if it was, you know, listening to feedback, I will probably in the next patch, which should be next month, maybe you can have an option to say what find it annoying. Yeah, I will probably add like a soundtrack selector, so you can select which track you want. You know, whether you want the original game soundtrack or whether you want the new one. You know, because I think adding user choice into games is probably one of the most important things. And, you know, whether you want a more modern style or you want the older soundtrack, then that would definitely work. The only thing I wasn't able to add, because I couldn't find an efficient system to add it, somehow that was a fastest lap, was that, what was I saying? yeah, a lot of things I found was that people were complaining of the annoying music. So if people want the old music back, then I will definitely add that in a patch. And as I said, I want to make the game at least supported for a year with regular DLCs and things like that. So the next patch will probably just be bug fixing things that weren't able to be, because like this game was meant to release in July, so, and then the next release was November the 14th, so it's already pretty late, and I was like, I'll probably just release it in the definitely playable state it is, and then we'll add bug fixes and quality of life improvements after that. So if you have any feedback, there will be a forums board on itch.io that you can just sorry, it really takes quite a bit of concentration. There will be a forums board on the itch.io. Was there going to be online multi? Yes, we'll get onto that in a second. Now, it should be mentioned that the online multiplayer at this stage is pretty much a tech test. I am not good with networking, and as well, my go-karting drawing skills, my go-kart drawing skills aren't the best. So I will hold my hands up and say that the go-kart in this game does look like a child's scribble. It is pretty bad, but you know, as I said, the multiplayer in this game is pretty much a tech test. It's a little bit laggy, I'm pretty sure. I tested the system with another one of my games, and I basically copy and paste it over, and if I remember, it was fine, but quite laggy. So I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to, that it's going to bug out a little bit, but we should have, it's all about just kind of tech testing and things like that. You know, the multiplayer is very much a work in progress, and hopefully by the end of the game we'll be able to have like online races, because I think like a really cool thing in this game would be that you could do like league racing and stuff, not like full on, just like fun arcade racing. Although I did decide to remove the power-ups because I feel like with the tighter, more difficult tracks now that aren't original, I feel like power-ups would have really just made it a lot more difficult. And as I said, I wanted to make the game more accessible rather than, focusing on a niche market. Enough of Monaco now. We'll get on to our last track before we go into Circuit Below 10 and Half Mile Dirt. So multiplayer will be in the game. And it is basically a test for, like, a lot of this game I think is definitely just setting up the base for what's to come. So, it's playable, and I know I can easily say this about my own game, but it's quite enjoyable as well, just to sit here and see what your fastest lap time can be. I don't imagine at this stage in 3 that people will really want to sit there for hours on end playing the game. I wouldn't say that's a realistic expectation, but I think the physics are quite fun, and once you get the controls working properly, it can be a really enjoyable little game to play. So I think the focus of the multiplayer at the moment is really just for people who wanted to sort of have a little, just like hang about with their friends and play a bit of multiplayer, which is why we've got to focus on like private rooms. Currently we use the default Unity networking UI, but again I will change that as I get more of an understanding of multiplayer. As I said, this is literally my first release of a multiplayer game, or multiplayer compatible game, so it's very much a learning experience for me, which has basically been this entire series. You can see how I've got better as a game developer over the last year and a half. Like, I've gone from an awful open world game to this, and I'd say this is a fairly polished now and decent game. The only thing that we need to add is obviously little quality of life improvements and maybe some car sounds, and then it is the complete package, I think. I'm not sure how this lap has gone so absolutely horrible, but that's the London E3 circuit. I can't say E3, sorry. Right, now onto the 2 big things in the game. Circuit Below 10, which is Haiti. Now, excuse me, the cars are quite difficult to handle. As you can see, they drift more around dirt circuits. This is part of the grip mechanics. They make the car slower on grass. Yeah, I really do want to make the car slower on grass. eventually. I'm going to figure out a system to do it. You can see Haiti is a very difficult track. Haiti, this is, fun fact, I've been doing some research on Haiti. This is the first, obviously it's not official because it's a free game. We're not EA. We don't have money to spend on these things. It is the first base, Track Day 3 will be the first game to, without mods, feature the Haiti circuit. So yeah, it's because one of our, I say esports is a very light term, but one of our drivers over on R Factor used, lives in Haiti, so we decided as like a, you know, to add a dirt track. I mean, it's not dirt anymore, but the reference images that I used to get the track into the game were when it was a dirt track. So I thought we'd add it as a dirt track, and you know, you can have it's a good track to sort of drift around and just slide it through the corners. I really like these physics because I thought last game's physics were quite fun, but as well they were very unrealistic. So I've sort of improved them this game, and kind of like just tweaked little bits where I needed to. So for example, you've got now taking the racing line is actually faster because you can go in more momentum and you'll go faster. So obviously I don't want this game to be a complete racing sim. It's a 2D arcade racing game. But I also want it to feel like a genuine racing game that you can sit down and, you know, and spend a while on. But I feel like Track Day 3, as I said, is definitely whoa! I have just my controller has come unplugged. If my computer crashes now, I am very sorry. As you can see, donuts are now in the game. We can do donuts. But I mean, it wouldn't be a racing game if your wheel or controller didn't become connected. Now, I was trying to add wheel support, but then I thought to myself, for the market we're going for, even though wheel support would be nice, I also feel like it's a bit counterintuitive. Like the controls, for example, when I'm this way, the controls are inverted because I'm facing a different way. It feels fine when you're in the game, like your brain just automatically adjusts to it. But I feel like on the wheel, your brain wouldn't really adjust to that well. It's all because of something to do with the axis and stuff, and but yeah, so it's intuitive. Like the brain understands it perfectly fine, and you get used to it. So like now I'm steering. I think I'm not steering normally there, but like if I face this way, then steering is normal there. So I steer that way. I think it is. It's different. Oh, here we go. This steering is definitely normal when I face this way. But it depends as well. On most of the clockwise tracks, it's completely normal. You don't feel any difference. It's just about adjusting. And obviously, if people complain, we can make sure that that's fixed. Like, this track's pretty bad for it. I'm only just realising these things now. But, you know, it's intuitive. Your brain kind of gets used to it after about a lap. So, this is a half-mile dirt track. You know, it's a big thing in the UK. Dirt tracks. Just half-mile. So, this is like Indianapolis, but shorter and more drifty. Which is pretty much what half-mile dirt tracks are. Basically taking an athletics field and chucking cars on it. Which is why this is called the Track Day Banger, because banger racing is a big thing, and I feel like it is... I've just completely missed the start line. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that isn't added in many games. You know, like if you want to do banger racing on RFX, you have to download loads of mods, and you know, it'd be fun. I was also going to add AI and a lot of other things to the game, but as I got through development, it very much came to me that things like racing against the AI wouldn't be so much fun, and as well, Unity is not the best for AI pathfinder. I don't know how I got a 6-second nap time on this. I must have done some pretty big cuts. Here we go. We might be able to do it. Ah, there we go. Do some donuts. Alright, so now for karting. Now, please bear with me. Oh, wait, hang on. We can't do karting because no one's in the game yet. So, what I am going to do is, I am going to release the game now. So we're going to go to my itch.io. We're going to click dashboard. The link is in the description to get the game. Should be. If it's not, then just refresh the page and it will be. Or should be, if YouTube's not lying to me. I think it is. Yep, it will be in the description. So all you have to do, we are going to quickly go here. For some reason my description's reset. Oh, I've clicked create new project. That was silly off me. Right, edit on track day 3. We're just going to go to the landing page for a second. 5th year anniversary last month of Reedingame Studios. We started as like a little blog site. So track day 3, be the best. And we're going to click unhide. And we will click discussion board, public. And when I click save, the game will officially be live. And the game has released. If you go onto itch.io now, you can go down and you can install trackday3.zip. Alright, so we'll give people time to get that sorted. And then once you've got the game, just let me know. And we can get you into some karting. I'll give you a taste of what the karting is like. Now, please bear in mind, it is a little bit buggy. Oh, I say a little bit, it is very buggy. And it also takes a while to get it loaded in. But I'll get better as we go. So I'm going to enable matchmaker. I'm going to create room. Launch stream. We're going to create internet match. So here's the karting. So the karting is a little bit weird, I will admit. But once you type in that code, in fact, I'm going to make an easier code. We're just going to start with. Oh yeah, this is another thing. It is, as I said, the karting is very buggy in the game. I have to admit that, but that's also because it's. We'll just call it Go Green. That isn't a political statement. That is the lights going out. So I'm going to also type on my personal account the code. So it's Go Green. So all you have to do is, oh, we've got someone. Is that me? That is rather peculiar. I hope that's not me. If it is, then something has gone very wrong with the multiplayer. Oh, that better not be me. We'll go back and I'm just gonna exit out of the game. So immediately we've got some bugs. But I think that was expected. We might also have a little issue because I'm technically on a different build. Nothing has actually changed. It's just that I had to reset the build so that you don't log in and have my player data. Because I'm probably faster than most people on the game, considering I've been developing it for the last 6 months. And I didn't want to have like really stupidly fast. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's obviously an issue with the internet match. This is rather awkward. This is why you test. I couldn't test as well because I only have one computer. So this is why you test your things. So that was definitely you. So yeah, this is kind of awkward actually. So as I said, the go-karting is kind of broken. I'll have to have a look at the other game that I put this in. So please do bear with me. There'll probably be a patch out as soon as I can for this. I was also controlling 2 cars at the same time. I think the problem we have is probably something to do with my configs, where it must be taking your input and thinking, and not just, there we go, look, bit laggy, must be someone joining. So yeah, so hit detection is also a little bit off. I'm not sure what's going on, because I use this pretty much the exact same code in another project, and I was able to play with someone completely fine. So I'll give it a look and get a patch out as soon as possible. So I think we've covered all bases in the stream. I am sorry about the karting. That is an embarrassing mistake from me. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely... and if we look... Oh, there's 3 people now. Well, at least we've got progress. That's something to definitely consider. But I mean... Yeah, so... yeah, hit detection is a little bit off. I think it must be a problem with me and the game, because when I tested this on another thing, it worked. So once again, Unity being really annoying and silly. So we'll just kindly remember or kindly forget that this little tech test ever happened. Of course, when I did like this game's announcement stream, of course multiplayer works on Reading Blast completely fine without a hitch back then, and of course it's not working now. That's just typical. Typical Unity. Something works completely fine in another build, and then you make one change and it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, so I'll have a look at that, and yeah, so if you want to get this game, not that this is the best advert of the game, I will admit, I'll start looking at the patch over the weekend and get one pushed out for next week that hopefully fixes the multiplayer. And then I'll do like a live stream full of the multiplayer next week when it actually works, and I'll test it this time, not just arrogantly assume that my previously working system works again. So once again, blame Unity or my bad testing, one of the two. But yes, so next Wednesday we'll try and get the patch out. Wednesday to Saturday. If you follow us on Twitter, it is, I'll create a thing, add text. I'll put the Twitter on the screen now. At Reedingame Dev. If you follow that, you can stay up to date with updates about the game. And yeah, so it looks like I have got my work cut out for me, fixing this system. So take the rest of this stream as the advert for this game, and then we'll just kind of grumble that multiplayer kind of exists. And yeah, I'll get that fixed. So thank you all very much for watching this stream. I'd say, apart from the obvious, it's been a fairly big success. So yeah, so as I said, the game will be supported for the next year. We'll have some DLC out in January. We'll have working multiplayer, hopefully this time next week, once I figure out what on earth is going on. And yeah, apart from that, I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and we'll close out this stream with the trailer, and then we'll stop it. So we'll see you in a bit. Bye.
I'm wide awake, but you're a nightmare. I can't escape, I'm seeing you everywhere. Words that you say poison the air. Oh, I'm wide awake, but you're my nightmare. fear. With your arrogant ways and your comb over hair.